MS-13 simp. This is United States Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland. And he just took a trip to El Salvador. He wants to rescue and return home a guy by the name of Mr. Garcia, who is a suspected MS-13 gang member who was in the United States illegally. The Trump administration deported him, sent him to El Salvador. He's currently sitting in CECOT, the maximum security prison. So Van Hollen here from Maryland traveled down to El Salvador, and he speaks, and I'm going to share what he has to say. But look, MS-13 simp, you see it right here. What is this guy simping for this Garcia guy for? What is the senator doing? What is his goal here? Because Garcia is in the country illegally, and now there's reports that he abused domestic violence against his significant other. He was ordered deported, and the Trump administration deported him. But for some reason, this senator wants him back to Maryland and feels he's entitled to go to another country and bring this suspected terrorist gang member back. I don't think so, folks, but you can listen to him. He speaks, and then we'll further discuss.
So they illegally abducted Mr. Ábrego Garcia from Maryland and sent him to CECOT, which is a notorious prison here in El Salvador. In fact, it's a prison where they say they send the worst of the worst, right? That's where they send the terrorists. Now, the courts of the United States have said there's no evidence to support the charge that he's part of MS-13. So I asked the vice president whether or not El Salvador has any evidence that he's part of MS-13 or has committed a crime.
Así que la pregunta que le hice yo esta mañana al vicepresidente Ulloa es si El Salvador tiene pruebas de que el señor Ábrego García sí es miembro de la MS-13.
So I asked the vice president if Ábrego Garcia has not committed a crime, and the U.S. courts have found that he was illegally taken from the United States, and the government of El Salvador has no evidence that he was part of MS-13. Why is El Salvador continuing to hold him in CECOT?
Entonces, si no hay pruebas contra el señor Ábrego García de que entró ilegalmente en los Estados Unidos o que él sea miembro de la MS-13, porque en las cortes de los Estados Unidos no hay evidencia, entonces, ¿por qué es que lo liberan?
And his answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CECOT.
Y su respuesta fue que el gobierno de El Salvador le está pagando. El gobierno de El Salvador está recibiendo un pago por mantener al señor Ábrego García en El Salvador.
And I pointed out that neither the government of El Salvador nor the Trump administration has presented evidence to support the claim that he's committed any kind of criminal acts.
Entonces yo le dije que ni el gobierno de los Estados Unidos ni El Salvador ha presentado pruebas de que el señor Ábrego García ha cometido algún hecho ilegal.
And so why not release Ábrego Garcia today?
Y entonces, ¿por qué no liberar al señor Ábrego García hoy mismo?
And he said what President Bukele said the other day at the White House, which that El Salvador can't smuggle Mr. Ábrego Garcia into the United States.
El Salvador no puede contrabandear al señor Ábrego García de nuevo hacia los Estados Unidos.
And I said, I'm not asking him to smuggle Mr. Ábrego García into the United States. I'm simply asking him to open the door of CECOT and let this innocent man walk out.
Y yo le dije que yo no le estoy pidiendo que él entre ilegalmente al señor Ábrego García a los Estados Unidos, sino que sencillamente que abra la puerta del CECOT para que él pueda salir.
And I pointed out that the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, has said that the United States would send a plane to El Salvador to pick him up.
Yo le dije que incluso el señor Bondi, que es el fiscal general de los Estados Unidos, dijo que enviaría una plata para recoger al señor Ábrego.
And why did she do that? Because the Supreme Court of the United States, in a ruling of 9-0, has said that the Trump administration has to facilitate his return to the United States.
Y eso lo dijo porque en la Corte Suprema de los Estados Unidos dijo que tiene que facilitar el regreso al señor Ábrego García a los Estados Unidos.
Now, there's no evidence that the Trump administration is complying with that order.
Pero no hay evidencia que la administración
There's no evidence that they're complying with that order. In fact, the United States Embassy here has told me they've received no direction from the Trump administration to help facilitate his release. So the Trump administration is clearly in violation of American court orders.
Así que claramente la administración de los Estados Unidos está en franco incumplimiento con las órdenes de los Estados Unidos.
But that still leaves the question, why is the government of El Salvador continuing to imprison a man where they have no evidence he's committed any crime and they've not been provided any evidence from the United States that he's committed a crime?
Y entonces la pregunta que resta por preguntar es por qué entonces el gobierno de El Salvador no hay pruebas que lo incumben.
So they should just let him go.
Entonces deberían liberarlo, dejarlo ir.
And they should let him go, and we will find a way to get him from San Salvador to Maryland, the state of Maryland.
Deben de dejarlo ir y nosotros encontraremos una manera de
Because I promised his wife Jennifer, and
yo le prometí a su esposa Jennifer,
and his mother and his brother
a su madre y a su hermano,
and their family, because
toda la familia,
he has 3 children.
porque él tiene 3 hijos.
Some of them have severe disabilities.
Algunos de ellos son problemas.
I promised them that I would do everything I could to get him out of CECOT.
Y yo les prometí a ellos que iba a hacer todo lo que estuviera en mis manos para sacarlos del CECOT.
And I won't stop trying, and I can assure the president, the vice president, that I may be the first United States senator to visit El Salvador on this issue, but there will be more, and there will be more members of Congress coming.
Y yo les he dicho a El Salvador que tal vez soy el primer senador que ha venido para tratar este asunto, pero puedo asegurarles que no van a venir muchos.
This is an unsustainable and unjust moment, so it cannot continue this way.
Este es un momento que no es sostenible, no puede continuar de esta manera.
I also told his wife and family that I would try to meet with Mr. Ábrego García while I was here.
También les prometí a su esposa y a su madre que iba a tratar de reunirme con el señor Ábrego García mientras él estuviera aquí en el país.
So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Ábrego García.
Así que le pregunté al vicepresidente si podía reunirme con el señor Ábrego García.
And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CECOT.
Y él me dijo que había que hacer ciertos arreglos previos para poder entrar.
I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CECOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Ábrego García.
Y yo le contesté que yo no estaba interesado en tomar un viaje, dar una vuelta, porque no podía
He said he was not able to make that happen.
Y él me dijo que no estaba dentro de sus posibilidades hacer que eso sucediera.
I asked, he said he needed a little more time.
Me dijo que necesitaba más tiempo.
I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Ábrego García.
Yo le pregunté que si regreso la próxima semana, si entonces sí voy a poder hablar con el señor Ábrego García.
He said he couldn't promise that either.
Y me dijo que eso tampoco lo podía hacer.
So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Ábrego García.
Entonces yo le pregunté que si podía hacerle una llamada telefónica, ya fuera una videollamada o por teléfono con el señor Ábrego García.
So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family.
Solamente para saber cómo está y poder reportar nuevamente si estaba a su familia.
He said he could not arrange that.
Y me dijo que no podía hacer arreglos para eso.
He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen.
Me dijo que si tal vez la embajada americana lo pidiera, tal vez entonces podría suceder.
So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone.
Así que yo también yo voy a hacer la embajada de Estados Unidos para ver si puedo hablar con él por teléfono.
I asked him how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice?
Y también hice la pregunta de que qué puede hacer la familia, su esposa, para poder hablar y que ella escuche su voz.
I let him know that the family has requested that.
Y le dije que la familia ha solicitado eso.
He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen.
Y me dijo que no estaba seguro de poder hacer eso.
So we have an unjust situation here. The Trump administration is lying about Ábrego García. The American courts have looked at the facts. In fact, the Trump administration lawyer, the government lawyer, admitted to the court that Mr. Ábrego García had been mistakenly taken in administrative error, that it was a mistake. But instead of fixing the problem and addressing that injustice, do you know what the Trump administration did? They put that lawyer, who's a 15-year veteran of the Department of Justice, on administrative leave. And berated that lawyer who told the truth to the judge. So I want to just close by reading you what the judge said. This is a federal district court judge, the District of Maryland. And I'm quoting from Judge Zinnes here. As defendants acknowledge, and the defendants here are the government, or the Trump administration. They had no legal authority to arrest him. No justification to detain him. And no grounds to send him to El Salvador, let alone deliver him into one of the most dangerous prisons in the Western Hemisphere. The judge went on to say, and I quote, having confessed grievous error, the defendants, and again, that's the government, that's the Trump administration, having confessed grievous error, they now argue that this court lacks the power to hear the case. and that they lack the power, the court lacks the power to order Ábrego Garcia's return.
Que la Corte tampoco tiene el poder para ordenar el regreso de Ábrego García.
So a U.S. District Court judge has ordered the Trump administration to bring him home.
Así que este juez de la Corte Federal ha ordenado que traigan a Ábrego García.
The United States Supreme Court, by 9-0 vote, has ordered the administration to facilitate his return.
Y la Corte, en una votación de 9-0, ordenó que trajeran nuevamente a Ábrego García.
So the Trump administration needs to obey the law.
Entonces, la administración Trump tiene que obedecer la ley.
But I'm also asking the government of El Salvador and the president and vice president of El Salvador
También estoy solicitando al gobierno de El Salvador, a su presidente y a su vicepresidente,
not to keep a man who was illegally abducted from the United States
no detener a un hombre que fue ilegalmente traído de los Estados Unidos
and charged with no crime
y acusado de ningún crimen
to remain in CECOT,
para que siga permaneciendo.
when as a sovereign country, they have the power to let him go and let him go now.
Porque como país soberano que somos, deberían de dejarlo ir y dejarlo ir ahora.
And I hope they will.
Yo espero que así lo hagan.
Thank
Are
you.
you concerned whether Mr. Ábrego García is still alive?
I don't know about his health status. That's exactly why I wanted to meet with him directly. That's why I wanted to talk to him on the phone. That's why I want to arrange a phone call with his wife. I mean, this is a notorious prison. And the family, this is a guy, again, he just got disappeared off the streets of Maryland. He ends up in, I'm sorry.
Es por eso que yo estoy pidiendo que necesito hablar con él, porque no sabemos cuál es la primera. Efectivamente, desapareció de la
This is why I wanted to see him. I also want to say to everybody here, you may know, in the state of Maryland, we have a very wonderful, robust Salvadorian population. And they contribute greatly to our state.
Senador, es una afrenta del gobierno de Bukele al sistema de justicia de Estados Unidos.
No le oigo cuando yo estoy hablando, no puedo oír. ¿Su pregunta cuál es?
Es que sí es una afrenta del gobierno de Bukele al sistema de
Is it
justicia
a
de Estados Unidos.
confrontation from the Bukele administration to the United States of America?
Well, I'm asking President Bukele to, okay, I'm asking President Bukele, under his authority as president of El Salvador, to do the right thing and allow Mr. Ábrego García to walk out of a prison, a man who's charged with no crime, convicted of no crime, and who was illegally abducted from the United States.
Es por eso que yo le estoy haciendo la petición para que suelte al señor Ábrego García, que no fue acusado de ningún crimen, para que pueda salir.
Do you maintain any hope that you'll be able to meet with Kilmar?
I'm going to keep pressing. You want to?
Tiene esperanza de entender al señor Ábrego García.
I will keep pressing in my remaining time here, and I will keep pressing beyond that if necessary.
Última pregunta, por favor, última pregunta.
Gestiones después de la reunión que tuvo con el vicepresidente Ulloa, ¿va a generar otras gestiones o qué otra estrategia puede desde el Congreso puede generar usted para reunirse y para garantizar las condiciones del señor Kilmar García?
What other strategy do you think that you can undertake, or what other activity are you going to undertake to make sure you know that you can have the release of Mr. Ábrego García?
Well, I will say that as a member of Congress, we'd like to work to have good relations between, the people of the United States and the people of El Salvador. And
Just on the live stream, the question was what more can Congress do?
And that's why we need to make sure that we keep working to secure justice, because Congress has a very important role to play in the relationship between the United States and the people of El Salvador.
Crazy. What is he trying to do here? I don't understand. Is he trying to use this for propaganda? Why is he gravitating towards this criminal? This known criminal, gang member, terrorist? Why? What is he trying to accomplish here? So there's some people in Maryland at the courthouse protesting, demanding Garcia be returned home. But I just don't get this. I don't get it at all. Let me know what you think. We're following this case extensively on JLR Investigates. Mass deportations. Many suspected MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members will be sent to El Salvador. CECOT. What did he think? He was just going to go in and say, I want access to this prison. You don't have a right to go to another country and demand to go into another country's prison. Who does he think he is? He knows he ain't getting nowhere with this. It's all game. I think it's a stunt. A stunt. Let me know what you think. Sub to the channel, like, hit the notification button. We'll talk soon. Stay tuned.